Hello, welcome to the Western Galilee College. We're sitting in our faculty club having a very important guest for us, Barnabas Balint from Oxford University. Barnabas was a student in our Innovation and Entrepreneurship course for Holocaust memory, where we met, and we've been in touch ever since. He's now visiting the college, and he agreed to answer some of our questions. So I will start by asking Barnabas, who are you? What is your story? How did you get to where you are now in Oxford, etc.?
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, Boaz. I first got interested in studying and learning about the Holocaust at secondary school when my teacher, who was teaching me for religious education, put on a lesson about Holocaust Memorial Day. And she would get us to watch the testimony of a Holocaust survivor, and then we would all make some kind of response to that. And that could be a piece of artwork, a finger painting, some kind of pledge to make the world a better place. And she would collect all of these and put them into a big display of the entire school. So we would have 1,000 students' work on Holocaust Memorial Day showing this. That was incredibly powerful to me, as well as obviously hearing the testimony of survivors in creating that event. And so I got more interested. I found out that the UK government runs the Holocaust Memorial Day Trust, and I joined their youth programme. Several years later, when I went to university, I discovered that I could look into this from an academic position as well. And ever since my first class at university, I've found the courses where I could learn about the Holocaust, I could learn about genocide, and I could learn about Jewish life in Europe. And so I kept going. I deepened my interest through all sorts of academic and outside work. And then I decided to do a master's and now a PhD in the history of the Holocaust. My PhD at Oxford focuses on Jewish youth during the Holocaust in Hungary. I'm able to explore history in Hungary, the rich Jewish history there, in addition to ways that young people have their identities challenged during times of crisis like genocide. And I've not lost that connection with the Holocaust Memorial Day Trust, and that's why I was so interested in doing the Western Galilee College course that you ran on innovation and entrepreneurship in Holocaust memory, because we are, as young people, the future of Holocaust memory and the future of Holocaust remembrance, and I wanted to learn more about how I could support that work.
Okay, before we go on to the course, I'd like to ask you, can you tell us more about your activities in Holocaust memory in the UK? I know you also have a program in your university, and you are in all those institutions you mentioned, so maybe, and the British Association of Holocaust Studies. So can you tell us a bit about this?
Of course. I've been organising and running events for Holocaust Memorial Day for the past maybe 7 years or so. Those have taken a variety of forms. Often I bring survivors into my school, my college, my university, and I get them to speak to students there, as well as to members of the public who are able to come in. We hear that testimony, we learn from it, we think about it, we think about how it relates to our world around us today, and then we also enter into an academic discussion. So I've run conferences at the University of Exeter and at the University of Oxford, and I've recently run a humanities-funded project at the University of Oxford, engaging the wider public with Holocaust research going on at the university, and with all sorts of public engagement work in terms of Holocaust Memorial Day, remembrance, commemoration, and everything in the UK and beyond.
So you are already very active in the perpetuating Holocaust memory. You are studying this academically, and then you joined our course on innovation and entrepreneurship for Holocaust memory. And I would like to ask you first, I mean, you mentioned it a bit, why did you go to the course, and what did you get out of this course?
The course was a fantastic opportunity to be able to learn not only about how we remember the Holocaust, but about the really practical ways that we can remember, that we can reflect on that history and on that memory, and how we can share that with others. So being able to hear people on the course talk about their own experiences of setting up really new and really different and unique ways of remembering the Holocaust, be that creating educational resources, sharing new stories from current research, or creating cards that spoke about different emotions that that people felt during the Holocaust. These are all really fascinating ways of doing things, and they challenge us to think about new ways of remembering a history that we all know far too well.
And what did you think of the international aspect of the course? You had, I say that Barnabas's class had students from 12 countries.
Yes. Well, I joined from the UK, and I know that I was there in a group with people from around the world, and I worked on a project with people from Austria, from Germany, from all over, and really the internationality of the course made it so much more effective than it would have been otherwise. Holocaust memory is itself international. The Holocaust is a transnational history. It took place across Europe and beyond, and its impact continues to strike right across the world even today. And so having those people is absolutely essential, and we need those kind of cross-border discussions, because not only do we all come to the table with different perspectives and different perceptions about how Holocaust Memorial has developed and evolved in our own countries, but we're also able to tie connections across those countries. We're able to talk about our own experiences, and we're able to draw on the best practice from our countries. When I was working on the project and in the course with my people in the group, some of the others were able to physically go to some of the places that we were talking about, some of the survivors' histories that we were reading about. They could actually go to the street, to the house outside which that person was taken, or where that person was hidden, and for them to then be able to send back pictures of that physical space made it so much more close to home and so much more real.
And how do you think this course also contributed to your network of scholars all over the world? Did you get something from this? Apart from the working internationally, do you feel that it also contributed to your milieu?
Very much so, yes. The people that I met on the course and worked with, I've very much maintained contact with. I met people there who I've then met subsequently at different conferences and workshops around the world. One of the people that I met when doing the course with Western Galilee College, I then was able to invite to chair a panel at a conference for the British Association of Holocaust Studies back in 2022. And having that connection made it so much easier to then put together a really stimulating conference, because I knew that person had some really interesting research in a certain topic and would then be able to give a really interesting perspective on that panel. So yes, I've met people that definitely still are even now creating new ideas, new projects, new collaborations that will go on to make fruition.
So maybe for conclusion, I'll ask if you could have a chance to, you have now a chance, up the camera, to talk with students in different stages of the academic degree who have some sort of interest in the Holocaust. What will be your recommendation to them? Why should they take this course? Why will it help them?
I think for anyone with an interest in the Holocaust, and even for people who aren't interested, actively right now, taking a course like this will open your eyes to new and to interesting histories, and it will also equip you with skills that will enable you to make a difference in the world. Sadly, we're getting to a point nowadays where there are fewer survivors of the Holocaust who are around to share their histories with us, and from whose experiences we can get an understanding of the Holocaust and of what it meant to them. Because of this, it's now up to us as young people and as everyone in society to learn about their experiences and to share their stories. It is now for us to share those stories, and going on a course like this will not only equip you with the skills to share those stories, but it will also give you a deep connection into some of those histories themselves and some of the most moving and emotional histories that you will ever hear.
Thank you. Thank you, Barnabas. It was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for coming to visit Western Galilee College. We invite all our online students to come and visit too.
Thank you for inviting me.